Hi folks, so I'm just changing over the springs on the Meister R coilovers. Had a quick search on YouTube to find out whether or not there was a video that showed you how to do this, and I didn't stumble across anything immediately. So I thought I'd make a quick video, show you how to do it. I did take some clues from a video about BC coilovers, so that's how I found out. If anybody's searching for Meister R, you'll find it here. So this is a Zeta Pro coilover from an MX-5. They've come off our Mark II track car, and we're just going to change the springs to something slightly more track focused to go on the Mark I. So I'll show you how to do it. It's very, very simple. I'm using 3 tools for the actual spring swap. Got a 17mm spanner, a 14mm spanner, which is a little bit thinner. I've got the Halford's Advanced kit, and the spanner's just a little bit too wide for the nut, so I've found another spanner, 14mm, that's a little bit narrower, so it'll get onto the nut okay, and a 5mm Allen key. So it's a pretty simple process. So going on the top mount with the 17 and the adjuster with the 14, it should break off fairly easily. There we go. And then you can just take it off with your hand. There we go. So that's the adjuster, and it just comes out once it's been loosened. So we just flip over the spanner on the 17, take the 5mm Allen key into the top there, and this one requires a little bit more force, but again it's perfectly fine. There we go. So the nut comes off, then the washer, and then the top mount should come off, nice and loose, and that frees the spring. Bit of broggling normally. There we go, there's the spring off, and the shock absorber, the coilover, is ready for the new spring. So I'll just clean off the threads before we do anything else. Just using a wire brush for this. I do have a bin down there, I'm not just wiping it on the floor. So we've got the spring off, coilovers loose now, the threads are looking pretty good, it's all looking nice and clean. They are a few years old, but the car is mainly a track car, so it's not seen too much in the way of English winters. The spring rust, as you would expect from a relatively budget coilover. To be honest, you quite often buy premium coilovers and springs and they rust anyway. So that's not a surprise. So my coilovers came with a 6 kilo front, 5 kilo rear spring. I think that's a fairly standard Meister R Zeta spring setup for an MX-5. I know the earlier ones were slightly heavier springs, but no, 6 and 5 on mine, and I'm replacing the front one with a 10 kilo spring, or to be more accurate, I think it's a 550-pound spring, which I think I worked out earlier was 9.8 kilograms. So this is a Faulkner spring. I chose this because I thought they're probably a little bit better quality than the fairly generic ones that you purchase from Meister R. And these are a 7-inch free-length spring. I think it's 2.5-inch inside diameter. Don't quote me on that. Maybe check. In fact, I'll put in the description at the bottom what the spring specs are. So reassembly. We've got our rear coilover here from the MX-5. We've got what was on the front, a 6 kilo spring. Slide it over the shock body as it was before. Then the top mount, fronts I'll probably need to slacken off the collars a little bit, but for the rear, just going up 1 kilo, I'll probably be able to get it on by hand. He says. Okay, so the top mount's on, the washer and the nuts are on, so it just remains to put the little adjuster on, make sure it's clean, and then that just drops in the top through the Allen keyhole and screws up. It's a 14mm that you need. And just check the function. You can feel when it's working, you can feel the resistance. Yeah, that's fine. So we've built up the rear coilover here with the slightly harder 6 kilo spring instead of the 5. What you need to do after that is set the preload. So that means you get the bottom collar so that it holds the spring and it doesn't wriggle around, but it's not under any tension. You adjust the top collar up until you have a gap between the bottom collar and the top collar of the number of millimeters that Meister R suggests. In this case, we're going from a 6 kilo spring to a 10 kilo spring, so Jerrick's advised that we have 2 millimeters of preload. Standard, I think it is 10mm, and that's what he's advised for the rear with the 6 kilo spring. Once you've got that top collar adjusted and you can measure between the 2 millimeters that you need, you just tighten up the bottom collar against the top collar, lock it off, and you're ready to put them on the car. And then for height adjustments, you use the lower perch, which the coilover either winds into or winds out of.